Welcome to Distance Learning for Middle School for Washoe County School District, Social Studies Day 1. Instructions. Read the following article about the importance of the U.S. Census. If there are vocabulary words you do not understand, circle the word and look up the meaning in a dictionary. At the end of the article, identify and explain, in your own words, the 6 reasons why an accurate census count is so important to all of us. Then share what you learned with someone at home. Let's begin. Why is the U.S. Census so important? By prb.org. The 2020 census count began in January, kicking off a once-a-decade operation in which every household in the United States will be asked to answer a short series of questions that will influence policymaking and planning for the next decade. Remember, a decade is 10 years. The U.S. Constitution mandates that a census be taken every 10 years to count all people, both citizens and non-citizens, living in the United States. Responding to the census is mandatory because getting a complete and accurate count of the population is critically important. An accurate count of the population serves as the basis for fair political representation and plays a vital role in many areas of public life. Here are 6 key areas where the information collected in the 2020 census will help drive policymaking and shape the future of the United States. Wait a second. 6 key areas? 6 reasons why? Do you think that each one of these areas is going to be one of the things that we expect you to tell us the 6 reasons the U.S. Census is important? You got it. All right. Number 1, apportionment. You might be smarter than I am and know what that word means. I have no idea. So I'm highlighting it, copying, and then I'm going to open up Google. And I'm going to paste and search for apportionment. The act or result of apportioning something that does not help at all. But it does give me some synonyms, some similar words. Sharing, division, allocation, distribution, allotment, assigning. I mean, kind of helpful, a little bit. Let's see what Wikipedia says. Apportionment is the process by which seats in a legislative body are distributed among administrative divisions entitled to representation. Oh, I get it. Kind of like the Senate and the House. How the House of Representatives has people, the number of delegates based on the population. They are apportioned based on the population. And the census is how we find out the population. Okay, that makes sense. So, apportionment. State population counts from the decennial, meaning every 10 years, census are used to reapportion seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. No state has permanent claim to their current number of assigned House seats. State population counts determine how the 435 seats are split across the 50 states on each state's share of the national total. After the 2020 census, southern and western states are expected to gain seats and political clout or importance at the expense of states in the Northeast and Midwest. The Census Bureau will publish apportionment population counts by December 31st, 2020, affecting the size of state delegations for the 2022 U.S. House elections and state votes in the U.S. Electoral College for the 2024 presidential election. I'm going to pause right here. You can go back, you can reread, you can re-listen. Put into at least one sentence why apportionment is important. Once you are done, go ahead and type your answer into the box provided. If you're not done, you can pause the video. Moving on. Number 2, redistricting. State and local officials use decennial, remember every 10 years, census results to help redraw congressional, state, and local district boundaries to contain roughly equal numbers of people to ensure each person's voting power is closely equivalent, meaning the one person, one vote rule. The Census Bureau will publish redistricting data no later than March 31st, 2021, within 1 year of Census Day. Again, I'm going to pause. Put into your own words why redistricting is important. Moving on. Number 3, monies to states and localities. Census totals help determine the amount of funding the state governments and local communities receive from the federal government for the next decade. Census Bureau data were used to distribute more than $675 billion in federal funds to state and local communities for health, education, housing, and infrastructure programs. Infrastructure. I know that I'm supposed to know what this word means, but I don't remember. So I double clicked on it to highlight it. And then right clicked, copy. I'm going to go back down here to Google, paste and search. Infrastructure. Ooh, I'm getting some cool pictures. Okay. The words, okay. The basic physical and organizational structure and facilities, like buildings, roads, power supplies, needed for the operation of a society or enterprise. Okay, so the infrastructure is things like the buildings, the roads, the power grid, all that stuff that kind of helps us stay alive, stay awake. Neat. Anyways, $675 billion in federal funds to state and local communities for health, education, housing, and infrastructure programs during fiscal year 2015. Accurate census counts ensure that funding is equitably distributed for numerous programs such as Medicaid, highway planning and construction, special education grants to states, the National School Lunch Program, and Head Start. Again, I'm going to pause. Tell me why money to states and localities, or the census is important for money to states and localities. Continuing on. Number 4, planning. Data from the census inform a wide range of government, business, and nonprofit decision making. Governments and nonprofit organizations rely on decennial census data to determine the need for new roads, hospitals, schools, and other public sector investments. Census data are also vital to businesses as a key source of information about the U.S. population's changing needs. I'm going to pause. Tell me why the census is important for planning. Number 5, emergency response. Detailed population information is critical for emergency response in the wake of disasters. First, sorry, we're in one now. Sorry guys, got to keep it light. I hope you guys are all okay. First responders and disaster recovery personnel use census data to help identify where and how much help is needed. Similarly, demographic details from the census assist epidemiologists. I don't know who they are. It's a big word. Epidemiologists. Looks like a lot of people right now. Let's go over here. Epidemiology is the study and analysis of the distribution, patterns, and determinants of health and disease conditions in defined populations. That's so many words to say. They're the people who study viruses and catastrophes like this. Anyways, demographic details from the census assist epidemiologists and public health personnel in everything from tracking disease outbreaks to combating the opioid epidemic to improving child health. Tell me why the census is important in regards to emergency response. And finally, a base for federal surveys. Decennial census data provide a population base for dozens of federal surveys. The Census Bureau's Population Estimates Program uses census data in combination with birth, death, and migration data to produce annual population and housing unit estimates. These estimates are then used as population controls for the American Community Survey, Current Population Survey, and many other federal surveys, so that the number of housing units and people in certain categories agree with the Census Bureau's official estimates. So, last thing for today, tell me why the census is helpful for a base of federal surveys. Make sure you have all 6 boxes filled out. If you want to go above and beyond, make sure you are citing the evidence from the text using quotation marks and a citation, line citation, and then explain in your own words why this matters. Really, truly, guys, I hope that you are all doing well, and I cannot wait to get back to school to see you.